Am I the asshole for telling my father to fuck off? Hello, I'm 17F and this is my story. So my living situation is quite a mess. My parents have been divorced for 2 years, so I basically have to flip back and forth to where I live. Weekdays I live at my mother's house, which isn't a problem, but it's the weekends that really are the issue. One word to summarize my father would be dick, as everything he does is in sheer passive aggressiveness. So, every weekend when I go to my dad's, he makes these little comments that really get under my skin. Last weekend, for example, he started criticizing my grades and how I spend my free time. I tried to explain that I'm just trying to balance school and hanging out with friends, but he wouldn't listen. Instead, he kept bringing up how I should be studying more and not wasting time. Now I wish that was the worst of it, but no. Now I may be a little bigger, but I am certainly not fat. Now I'm sure you're asking, what does that have to do with the story? But you can kinda put the pieces together. Every weekend I get called by a long list of derogatory names such as pig, cow, heifer, elephant, 2-ton Tessie, and the occasional Biggie Big Mac. Whenever I'm at my father's house I try to stay up in my bedroom and avoid interacting with him as much as I can, but that's not always the easiest. Just last weekend I was on the phone with my best friend Ava for no longer than 10 minutes, but out of nowhere my father took an axe to my door which wasn't even locked. After disfiguring my bedroom door, he took it off its hinges and threw it in the burn pit out back. This weekend though was the last straw. My father doesn't cook, so whenever I'm over he forces me to make something. This weekend he was in the mood for well-done steak teriyaki with a side of spring vegetables. When we began eating he spat up his food and screamed at me, "Say, you fat fucker, why is my steak bloody? If you weren't busy being a slut you wouldn't suck so bad in life." After this I broke down crying. I don't know why my father was so harsh. My younger brother James doesn't ever get yelled at or treated the way I do. My father carried on yelling at me until he slapped me across my face, which was the point I've had it with him. I picked up a nearby steak knife, stabbed him in the back multiple times, and finally ending off by slamming his head into his food. I hushed my brother as I made the beeline out the front door. It was about damn time that fucker learned a lesson, so I guess I had to be the one to teach him. To make this quick, basically I hid in the woods just outside of town until I calmed down and turned myself into the police. Fortunately enough I am out on bond because my father technically isn't dead, just in a coma. That brings me to this point that I'm writing to you guys. I have to show up for court in 5 months, but until then I can't leave my house, and I have a corrections officer visiting me every day. Fortunately I am not 18 yet, so hopefully I won't be tried as an adult, but the guilt still haunts me. Even though my father abused me for years, just the action of harming someone else has left me in shock. So please tell me your thoughts. Was I stupid to react like that, or do you agree with my response? Am I the asshole?